Hey, mamas, and welcome back to the podcast. We are so grateful that you're here to spend 30 minutes with us. It means more than you know and is hopefully giving your brain a little bit of a break, too. That being said, let's get right into it. Hallie, kick us off with your Cliff Notes. We're on baby watch.
We are so on baby watch, and it's funny that you talk about like give your brain a break because my brain has fully been on break without asking my permission for weeks now. I am giving full blown final days of pregnancy. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not sleeping a wink. I have heartburn for days. This baby's kicking me in the ribs. I am winded as if I've completed a marathon from turning from left to right in the sleep. Like, it's just, it's, I've never experienced anything like this. And if you're watching this clip on social media or on YouTube, I have been podcasting from bed because let me tell you, I cannot be bothered to sit in a
Mm-mm.
chair. It
Mm-mm.
must be bed. So I'm winded just talking, sharing cliff notes, but we're very excited. Baby girl could be here any minute. I have had several moments where I thought maybe I was having a contraction. So I think body's gearing up for it. I'm eating all the dates. I'm having raspberry leaf tea.
Mm.
We've discussed how the kitchen is not complete. Whatever, it's fine. We are ready to welcome her in. The nursery's ready. We are ready. So, we're about to be a fam of four.
So exciting. Are you curb walking yet?
Not yet, because
Okay.
technically we are 37 weeks. We're inducing a week
Okay.
early.
Yeah.
So there's no rush to like get her out, except
Okay.
for my general misery and
Just,
discomfort.
yeah.
Um, but it's crazy because we've discussed this for you and I. We planned for this to be our last pregnancy. So it's very weird, as hard and as awful as I have felt, and this pregnancy has been. It is kind of sentimental to be like, I will never go down this road again. Like, this is it for my life. I will never again feel a baby in my body growing and kicking. And so there's some sadness and some like, I'm having a little bit of grief over that, but trying to just enjoy every last punch to the ribs and, you know,
Yeah.
moment of discomfort. I'm trying to transition to what a blessing it's been to be able to carry her.
Yeah. That's a nice
That's where I'm at.
perspective.
How about you?
So, gosh, I'm still puking over here.
Stop.
We
Hi.
we went to our little local dinner spot last night, and on the way out, I we were walking back to the car and I just puked in the bushes. So,
Immediately after eating?
immediately after.
Oh,
So,
can I ask you, is it now making it hard for you to eat those foods?
yeah, because I don't know if this is like what can I attribute this to or what I would attribute this to, but nothing ever sounds good.
Right.
Like
Nothing.
nothing. It all sounds horrible. And I said to Jason yesterday, I was like, I need you to just sometimes just put food in front of me. And so I'm doing this new thing where I'm trying to be better about just like eating every 2 hours. So I have like my little oatmeal right here.
Nice.
And I'm going to try and be really consistent about that and see how that goes. But yeah, not fun. I am in the stage, I'm a couple months behind you. And so I'm wearing fully like Jason's wardrobe now.
Oh yeah.
We're going no bra around the house,
Girl, no bra around
causing the
town. I'm like
the under
back
boob
in
sweat. Like look at
Oh,
this. Ah, under boob
yeah.
sweat.
Katie and I before we press record every day we do a boob sweat
Check.
check, and it's
Yeah.
usually pretty wet down there, so we are thriving. You look beautiful though. Like,
Oh my, it's a ring light.
oh yeah, I should probably turn mine on.
That's what it is. So I'm wearing his wardrobe because nothing of mine really fits except for like a maxi dress. Um, I can't see my vagina. I can't really see my feet. Um, and like you, I'm trying to be grateful for this season, but I I cried last night on the couch
Oh, why?
because I just felt like I think I really want to enjoy pregnancy. Like
Mhm.
that's really on my heart and I felt like, this is the last time I'm doing this and I really just want to be in a space where like even for a month I can just enjoy being pregnant. And it's just upsetting to me that it's so uncomfortable and that I hate it so much. And
Mhm.
so I just sat there like crying and talking to Jason about it and he's like, what can he do? He can't do anything. He's just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish I could take it from you. And it's just miserable. Like I'm just nauseous constantly and I hate complaining about it. But like we said earlier this week on the podcast, like, everyone's journey is different and we should be allowed to like speak our truth about it. But yeah, I really want to like pregnancy and like this phase and I'm having a really hard time. So
Oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. Not to be like a Debbie Downer, that's so depressing. Let me bring us up real fast.
Okay.
Kaya is now, so today she's 11 months
Oh my
exactly. So
God.
by the time, people hear this, she'll be 11 months and 1 day. But she has a new trick. She now points.
That's a big one.
It's a big one. So she can now clap, she can high five, and she can point, and she understands
Exciting.
the words come here. So
Oh.
like we'll put her down and be like, come here, come here, come here. And she'll like follow us or she'll come there wherever we are. And so that's something to celebrate. That's like a little victory
Yes.
through this sickness.
Well, what I'll say, Katie, we've talked about this. I really think God is fair. And for you and I, we've struggled in the conceiving, bringing a pregnancy full term. I had a great pregnancy, but then Dylan was a nightmare to sleep train. Kaya is a dream. So, like, that was your win is that you have this baby who is just, I mean, literally little Miss Congeniality. We went to a little cafe for lunch and she was making eye contact, smiling at everyone, chilling, letting mom have her hang with, me and our other girlfriends. Like she's just this angel baby. So that's your win. And if you have to pay your dues during pregnancy, listen, better to get it over with and then just to have the little dream baby who's pointing and understanding your words and, you know, just a happy, healthy baby. So I know it's hard, but I think your good karma will show up again once your baby girl is here. So we'll
I
just
hope
keep our eye
so.
on the prize. I'm
Yeah,
hoping
that's
this
so true.
baby's a dream to sleep train because my pregnancy's been so hard, you know?
Yes, I am going to put that into the universe for
Right.
you. Like the
Thank you.
sleep training. Because I will say, yeah, with Kaya, I don't know how we got so lucky right at 4 months. It took a few
Right.
nights and then now she loves her crib. Like she just loves it in there. I
See
don't
what
know
I'm
what we
saying?
did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, my sister had to have a C-section. Baby came 3.5 weeks early. He is a dream. He literally asks to be put down for a nap. He says he's tired. He asks to be put to bed, and then he'll take like a 3-hour nap. I'm like, what? So listen, God is
Wow.
fair.
Yep.
And just when you feel sad, know that, you know, your good is coming. Your wins are coming.
It's all an ebb and flow, right?
It's the truth.
All
It
right.
is the truth.
Let's talk about the tea. There's a lot to talk about today.
Gosh, so much, so much. Okay, let's talk about Jessica Biel. She wrote a book. It's a kid's book about periods. That is the name of it. Nail on the head. She's not getting creative. It is a kid's book about periods, and it aims to help parents kind of initiate that conversation that can be really awkward with their kids so that they can understand how their bodies work and kind of like normalize talking about the topic because periods can be kind of like a taboo thing to talk about for some
Mm.
reason still. And she says that she was inspired to write the book because even at 42 years old, she has, quote, genuine questions still about her own period and that all her girlfriends are saying the same thing. She said, quote, nobody knows anything and we're all just riding by the seat of our pants, which I gotta say is so true because until recently, I wasn't sure how many holes I had down there. Like this is so true. She says that she hopes to stop period shame, which is something she's experienced herself, which is so interesting because I was like, what is period shame? And then she explained it's like, you hide a tampon up your sleeve when you're walking to the bathroom so that no one can see that you have a tampon and that you're on your period when you're walking to the bathroom at the office. She says it's a complex, deeply layered, profound learned behavior. How many times have I slipped it up my sleeve? She says now she's trying really hard to work on things and she needs to change. I need to change my tampon, open my bag, and confidently walk to the bathroom, head held high. I'm trying to make a concerted effort to do that, but the little girl inside me still gets nervous about what somebody's going to say or see or make a comment about, or make you feel you might smell funny or you're gross now because this is happening to you. It's still in me. And she said she got her first period at 11 and she was so scared. She thought she was dying. And she was like, "What's going on here? I'm really freaked out." And what's really interesting is Jessica is married to Justin Timberlake and they have two boys.
Right.
So that she wanted to write this book for, little girls. It's not just for little girls. She said it's for boys too. And she said it's really important to her that they have the information that they're able to, quote, respond compassionately. I
Mm.
love that. She says she wants them to have language around it and she wants them to be included in the conversation. I love it. Katie, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I love that she's doing this because it is funny. It's like for some reason periods are so taboo, especially when you're in high school and middle school. They just feel really, really scary. And I remember I got my period when I was like in fourth grade. And
Yeah. Oh,
that was kind of
fourth.
fourth grade. And that was kind of early for, girls to be getting their period. And I was so like annoyed every time it would come. I wasn't quite ready for tampons yet, so I was using pads and I
Hmm.
felt like you could see the bulge and then I was constantly worried like is it leaking and like bringing sweatshirts to tie around my waist. And yeah, I feel like similarly to her, I have like PTSD from that time to like where, yeah, whenever I've been like in an office setting or in a public setting, it's like I bring my tampon and I slip it up my sleeve or I put it down my little pants or my new one is like if I have closed-toed shoes on, I'll put it like in the sock. And
That's
so
sneaky.
it's something that, and I think because I was the oldest daughter, moms don't always know how to talk to their kid about your period until the period comes. And even then, it's still like a learning thing to have that conversation. So I think with my girls, I want to be really, really transparent early on. And I think this book is a really helpful tool to do that. And I love that it's for little boys too, because I think for girls, part of the biggest fear is like, what are the boys going to say, right?
Exactly.
It's like,
Yes.
they're going to poke fun or be like, oh, what's that? And I hope my sister doesn't get mad at me for sharing this, but like one of our early bonding experiences, like later in life, is when she called me when she was in high school because her period went through her uniform, her skirt. And she was like, could you bring me an extra skirt? And I was home from college and I went and I brought her a new skirt. And it's just it's almost like a rite of passage, like you're going to bleed through your clothes at some point when you're
Totally.
new to having your period because you don't know how much you're bleeding. And I think, as you continue getting your period, like in those early phases, like it's heavy. You
Yeah.
got a lot of eggs to lose. Like it's just a heavy flow. And so, yeah, periods, I don't know why it's such a weird thing to talk about because it shouldn't be. It's literally every single woman on this planet has a period. Everyone.
Right. Yeah.
We all do it. We all go through it. We all bleed. We all got to figure it out. And it's not fun. I still think, when I when I wasn't pregnant, like during those 5 months postpartum, your period is like extra bad. I don't know about for you, but like after I delivered, it was just not fun. And I remember like talking to Jason about my period. And it's so nice to have a partner who like you can be open with about it.
Yeah.
Is this normal? I'm bleeding so much. And it should be like that all the time.
Right. Agreed. I was in fifth grade when I got mine, and I
Okay.
got mine the night before April Fool's Day. So I was devastated. You would have thought that someone had died in my immediate family. I was so upset. I took the morning off of school. And then when I went to school at lunch, I made all the girls huddle around. Like, I just picture myself wearing like sunglasses, being really dramatic, and just being like, guys, I got my period. And everyone was like, April Fools. And I was like, don't make me cry. This is not a joke. Like,
Isn't that
so dramatic, but I was so upset. So I love this. She's normalizing the conversation. I think the more we talk about these things, like, I think that's what you and I are always aiming to do, is to just be like fully transparent, because the more you talk about shit, the more grace we show each other, because we know we're all in it together and we're all going
yeah.
through the same thing or versions of the same thing. So good on you, Jess. We could almost put you in our Mama We Love this week, but got to give that the tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Sophie Turner. She is opening up about getting mom shamed. In a new interview with Vogue, she described the period after she and Joe Jonas announced their split as the worst few days of her life. She was basically, I don't know if you guys remember, but she was kind of cast as this like irresponsible party girl. And then the
Mhm.
media portrayed Joe Jonas as this doting father. So she says, quote, my kids were in the States and I couldn't get to them because I had to finish Joan. And all these articles started coming out. It hurt because I really do completely torture myself over every move I make as a mother. Mom guilt is so real. I just kept having to say to myself, none of this is true. You're a good mom and you've never been a partier. She also kind of took aim at the quote wayward mother trope, saying, I mean, it's unfathomable the amount of people that will just make shit up and put it up based on a picture. And she says a picture might tell a thousand words, but it's not her story. I'm so curious what your thoughts are on this because I have a lot, and I also feel like we have a lot of expertise in the media because we worked in media for so long. So we also know how this
Mhm.
works. So I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I feel for her because I do remember this very well. I was very much covering their split a lot because there was so much public interest around it. And the conversation was so, so intense. Like, online TikToks were just crazy. And it made me really sad because it was so obvious we haven't really come that far.
Right.
Because Joe was very much being painted as the hero, the good dad, and she was being thrown into this narrative that I don't think was warranted. And it was sad. I mean, I really, really felt for her.
I agree with you. This kind of goes back to the whole why aren't there changing tables in men's restrooms?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yep.
feel like for Sophie, unless we saw her photo, like she was working, first of all. She was working,
Mhm.
she was filming Joan, and he was working too. But when you're on tour, your schedule is a little bit different than when you're filming something. And I feel like, this goes back to also the conversation we had earlier this week about Jennifer Garner. Like, why are we constantly shaming moms?
Right.
She's doing what she had to do to bring in income. I do think from what we've seen prior to this, like she is a good mom. And are we with her 24/7? Are we with Joe 24/7? No, we're not. And so I think for us to like have been so hard on her is really upsetting. And I say us as like a collective society, not you and me.
Right, right.
Because I do remember when this all happened and I felt like this sucks for her. Like she's
Totally.
being chased around. There's paparazzi pictures of her like making out with someone on the set, but there was no context at first when those pictures came out.
Right.
Remember that?
I
And
reported on those photographs. I
yeah,
remember it very, very well. They were filming a scene, but it was
exactly.
painted, not necessarily the media, but definitely social media. People painted it as like, oh, she's sowing her wild oats, and where are her kids in this time of need? And it's interesting because man, I can think of several fathers who are celebrities who don't see their children, who aren't really shamed.
I
No one's talking about
I
that,
know.
and I
There's a
can
big
think
one
I
that
won't
comes
name
it
names.
yeah, there's a big one
We're
that
probably
comes
thinking the same people,
yeah,
and no one talks about it.
right.
And it's like, why are we so quick to jump on the
It's
woman?
and yeah, and it shouldn't always be all on the woman. That's why a partner is so significant, and that's why I'm so grateful to have, my husband. I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like it's both of our children. It's not all just on one person. And so yeah, that I'm sad that she was so sad about all of this.
Mhm.
And then I also think from a media perspective, we don't know exactly who was talking to the media or what, but a lot of times, and this is what I'll say, the source is the star's publicist or someone from their team. I'm not going to
Yes.
say that that's what this was in this instance, but I'm just going to throw it out there that a lot of times it's
Yeah,
somebody from the inside talking to
right.
media or giving quotes and painting people a certain way. And
And that's their job, is to make their client look good and to make their
yes,
client come out looking the victor from
right.
these public scandals.
And there's a lot
So,
of times too staged photographs. You
oh,
call up
yeah.
the agency or you take the pictures yourself and you sell them to the agency.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of that going on. And so I just think people need to be more aware of what's happening. And again, I'm not saying that's what happened in this situation because I don't know. I'm just saying that that is a common thing that does happen in celebrity news.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel for Sophie. I feel bad that she went through this. It's kind of like just so shitty. So, we'll leave that
The
at that.
shittiest. Let's get into OMG. So, the OMG of this week is nothing new, but it is a debate that has gone viral again. But
Mhm.
it's a debate about plane etiquette. Should someone traveling alone have to give up their assigned seat so a family can sit together? This whole debate has been reignited after a TikTok went viral where a passenger on a plane wrote, "What would you do? I got on the plane and a woman was sitting in my seat. And when I mentioned it to her, she said, 'Oh, you want to sit here? I thought we could switch because these are my kids.' She points to the two seats next to mine. I said, 'As long as it's a window seat, I'm happy to switch.' She points to the row behind us and says, 'Mine is right there. It's the middle seat.'" Now, this woman who went viral on TikTok and has everyone talking, said she only had 90 minutes of sleep the night before. She had to give a presentation to 500 people. She desperately needed sleep, and she did not end up agreeing to switch seats. And she said before anyone comes after her, she said the kids were like 11 and 15 years old, and the mom was in an arm's reach of both of them. And she said the mom proceeded to complain for at least 15 minutes to the person next to her, loud enough for her to hear. But the woman behind her that she was complaining to actually was defending her, so it was kind and appreciated, but it had her feeling really guilty, and I wanna know what you would do in that situation.
So, my issue here is with the airlines. Why are
Interesting.
airlines separating families?
Mm,
Why are they making you charge extra to pick your seats next to your family? In my opinion, it's on the airline. It's not
mm,
on the people. I do agree in this situation with the passenger who didn't want to change seats because she probably paid for that seat and she very specifically wanted a window seat. And so I'm with her, and I'm a mom. I don't think I would, I think age of the children also comes into play. 11 and 15 is different than like 4 and 6 or whatever. So I do think that the age comes into play, but I also think airlines should really not be allowed to price gouge families for wanting to sit next to each other. So, anyways, those are my thoughts. Blame the airlines, not the people.
it's interesting, I never even thought about the airlines. You're so, so right. As someone who travels a lot for work, I actually get hit with this pretty often. I'm an aisle girly, especially in my pregnancy with all the flying I was doing. My doctor was like, "Get up, walk around, do that." I think in my back and forth to LA every other week, I probably got asked to move maybe 3 times so
Wow.
that parents could sit with their kids, and I always did it, but I would get irritated, like plan ahead. Like I plan ahead so that I can have this aisle seat, so that I can take care of myself. I don't have to bother someone to get up and let me out.
Right.
But it's interesting you bring up, you're so right. It's so true. You kind of get, at least I fly American. I'm an American Airlines loyalist.
Hmm.
And if you want to choose your seat, you have to pay extra. Otherwise, the night before they'll assign you a seat. Never thought about that. It's very true.
Yeah, I just think it's on them. And why are we splitting up Like, why is this even an issue?
Right.
To me, if you're booking, 5 tickets, 4 tickets, 3 tickets, 2 tickets, put those seats together.
Yeah. Interesting thought.
So,
Food for thought. I'll be
food
curious
for thought.
what all our listeners think. Let
Yeah,
us know.
let us know. So, by the way, you guys, we have our secret Facebook group chat going on. Like, please come and request to join. But also, we have now just like a page that you can
Yeah.
follow. So go and follow that. We're also on YouTube. Basically, this month, this is very exciting. 20,000 impressions on this podcast.
Yeah. And our
Like,
subscribers are growing.
yeah, so
You
exciting.
guys are here and we love it.
All right, it is time to talk about this episode's Mama We Love. Molly Boz, she is a cookbook author. She's pregnant, and she now has some words about the controversy over the Times Square billboard featuring her promoting lactation cookies. If you guys haven't seen the digital billboard, it shows her with her pregnant belly visible. She's holding 2 lactation cookies up to her breasts, and behind the photo is a message that reads, "Just add milk." Well, it's been taken down and deemed too racy. Molly said that the 45-foot ad was supposed to celebrate breastfeeding moms. She said, quote, "It's super disheartening and infuriating to me that my kind of first public foray into being a public mother was one that was deemed inappropriate." Your thoughts? Because I love
Oh,
her.
I
Yeah.
love her and I've actually reached out to her to see if she would come and talk to us because I'm pissed on her behalf.
Yeah.
It's first of all, Times Square is known for their risque Calvin Klein ads, and like how many Frankenbeans have we seen in like big ass ads on the side of buildings in Times Square? Like, I'm sorry. This is so beautiful. And it's already hard as a woman to embrace your changing body. Even when you accept that it's this beautiful thing that you're growing life, it's still an adjustment for most women, I would say.
Hmm.
And she did such a brave thing. And then to have it deemed inappropriate is just so fucked. I love you, Molly, and I stan you. And I thought it was a beautiful ad. And I blow it up. I'll put it on the front of my house. You know, I will
I
celebrate that.
also, isn't in Times Square, isn't there like the naked cowboy? Did I make that up?
Yeah. Well,
Isn't
yeah. I
that like
mean,
a
he's kind of like a rogue,
right? But
but yeah,
that's
I,
allowed. I just think, and it kind of goes back to the whole period talk that we had earlier on in this episode. Why is all of this so taboo when it's just human nature, right? Like breastfeeding is human nature. Having a period is human nature. And I think the more that we put shame and we deem things like too racy, the more of a disservice we're doing to women.
right.
It's so upsetting. It's like, already I remember like nursing and feeling like I couldn't really do it in public.
Oh, yeah.
And this I felt was like such a step forward in that and like being able to do
Yeah.
that more and like freely, like you're just feeding your child. And my sister had one of those like wrap things that you put around you so you
Hmm.
can eat at like a restaurant and stuff. And I never like quite got the hang of that. But mostly because I felt judged and mostly because I felt like I didn't want to, have to go through the act of like opening up my shirt or lifting it up or whatever it is and like putting that wrap over me to do it. And so I just think like how sad that we even feel that way. Like
Right.
if a man was breastfeeding, would it be the same conversation?
No.
You know? And it's
Yeah,
like
it
it just
wouldn't.
feels like it's an attack on women, and I feel like, we've made so many strides, but there's still so much work to be done, especially for pregnant women.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yep.
just not fair. It
It's not.
it's not fair. And I know life isn't fair, but this feels like it does feel like a war on women.
Right. And let me just say, the cookies are large. They're fully covering her areolas. There's nothing
Yeah.
scandalous about this at all. It was actually a beautiful, very fun ad. So, listen, we like to say motherhood is a sisterhood. We're your sisters, Molly. We support you. And guys, that's all we got this week.
I
So,
do I do want to throw out a little disclaimer that we
oh,
are going to be going down to one episode a week very soon as Hallie welcomes her second baby. What an
yay.
exciting time. So just know that we will only be doing the Tuesday episode for a few weeks so she can adjust to life with two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for the grace. And we'll be back with all your usual content very soon.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Motherhood is a sisterhood.